Hi guys, JP from FSiPanel. I hope you're well. Today we are going to see how to fly a quiet bridge visual runway 28 right in San Francisco using the pilot waypoint. So I'm not going to show you how to create a pilot waypoint. I have created for you so you can just drag and drop it on your FSiPanel main window to get that pilot waypoint installed on your computer. So the link for the pilot waypoint is in the description section down below. So feel free to download it and just drag and drop it over the main window to have it imported. So we are going to prepare the approach on the Fenix A320 and we will try to fly it using the MCDU to see how easily it can be done and how to do it properly. Alright, so before I forget, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you. So let's jump in the cockpit and see what we have to do. Okay, here we are in the cockpit of our A320 American Airlines. Before going any further, I will just set the training weight. So we are planning to fly with, let's say, a full house or almost a full house. Let's put around 150 passengers, a little bit of cargo, and I'm going to put, let's say, about 10,000 pounds of fuel. Apply, and I'm going to choose instant for the load. And now my Airbus is loaded, as you can see, and we have a gross weight of roughly 137,000 pounds. All right, here we are. That's all we need to do in the cockpit here. Now we are going to prepare the approach with the pilot waypoint that I have created. So I'll show you how to import it and how to fly this approach. So let's start FSiPanel. All right, here we are in FSiPanel. As always, make sure you have the correct aircraft detected. We can see here the Fenix A320 and we are in San Francisco. Now you can choose to land on this approach on runway 28 left or 28 right. I'm going to show you 28 right, so 28 right is already selected. If you want to go for 28 left, just choose 28 left. And then for the fix, we are going to import that pilot waypoint. So what you have to do is download the zip file in the description down below, and you will find inside that file, KSFO RWY quiet bridge visual approach. Take it and drag and drop it over FSiPanel main window. Then you will get the information waypoint imported successfully. And now you can go to select fix, select waypoint, and you see the waypoint right there. So click on it. You can keep the default option. Click on validate and we are ready to go. So we can click move aircraft. So I will click move aircraft. We will watch the show. And then once FSiPanel has done the job, we will program the whole approach into our MCDU to see how we can do that together. All right, let's click move aircraft and see what happened. All right, here we are in the cockpit. Everything has been set 6,000. The speed is expected to be 240 and FSiPanel is asking us to set the thrust lever to climb. So let's do that. And as always, do not touch anything while FSiPanel is doing the trimming phase, is placing your aircraft into the correct position. So just watch the show and wait. It's going to take around 40 seconds and we should be at the right altitude and the right place just before the position Echo Delta Delta Yankee Yankee. Descending 6,000. Now FSiPanel will set the MCDU. As we are in a pilot waypoint, it will just insert the ILS, but we will not get the manage mode. So that's something to remember. If there is an ILS, FSiPanel will pick it up. And that's about it. Now we have auto brake, everything is good. We are reaching 6,000 feet and we should get the message that we can take the control. So wait for that and then we are going to prepare together this approach. Okay, here we are. Hold your brake for 3 seconds to take control. So now we are going to take the opportunity to program everything while we are in a position freeze. Okay, so we want to fly this quiet bridge visual runway 28 right today. So we can see that the first waypoint, and this is the pilot waypoint that you have imported if you use it, is Echo Delta Yankee Yankee. So let's put that in the box here, Echo Delta Delta Yankee Yankee. So that's my waypoint 5 miles in front of me, so that's perfect as expected. After that we can see the next one on the chart is SID-B. So let's put SID-B. Sierra India Delta Bravo Yankee. We can see that this is working. Let's insert and now we have to program something. Okay, now we have the next thing to do. If you look in the text here, it says, after seat B, fly 330 degrees heading to intercept Sierra Foxtrot Oscar, which is San Francisco VOR, radial 095 inbound. So here there is two ways you can insert that in your MCDU if you want to fly it with the MCDU. You can do it directly in the flight plan page, like this, or you can create a pilot waypoint and then use it in your flight plan page. So I think in the Iniballs and fly-by-wire, I'm not sure, but Iniballs for sure, you need to create a pilot waypoint, as you cannot insert it directly in the flight plan page. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I give it a try and it didn't work. So the first waypoint that we want to do here is the one that is at 10 miles San Francisco. We can see it on the chart right now. So it's basically the San Francisco radial 095 at 10 miles. So to do that directly in the MCDU, you can do it this way. Put the reference. So the reference is Sierra Foxtrot Oscar. Then put a slash. Then you tell the MCDU the radial I want to be in is the radial 095 slash and the distance. So now you're telling your MCDU, please create a pilot waypoint based on San Francisco radial 095 and at the distance of 10 nautical miles. And you drop it at the right place, and you can see that the pilot waypoint is nicely done right here. Insert. If you are flying Iniballs, or if you want to see the other methods, we are going to create the other waypoint using the database. So you go to data, next page, and you find waypoints. Now we can enter, for example, JP01. So that waypoint should not exist, and as you can see, it doesn't exist. So it doesn't know what you have to do with that. But then the MCDU tells you there is 3 ways to enter this waypoint. So either you give me a coordinate, either you give me exactly what we've done, a reference, a place, a bearing, and a distance, or 2 radial, place bearing, place bearing. So if we look at that last waypoint, which is at 6 miles from San Francisco, how to create it, we have to do exactly the same way as before. So we are going to say, I want San Francisco as the place, slash, the bearing is the radial 095, slash, distance is this time 6 nautical miles. Put it right there, and then the MCDU has computed the position of that waypoint, which is called JP01. Store it. Good. Now you know that this waypoint exists as JP01. So if we go after the first waypoint and I try to answer now JP01, here we go. Then we have a waypoint JP01. Insert, and let's have a look in the plan page. So you can see that we have the first waypoint we created, the second waypoint we created, and then we have the ILS to its right that has been inserted by FSiPanel. So this is quite an abrupt turn, and this is not what we want to do. After JP01, which is 6 nautical miles final, 6 nautical miles from San Francisco VOR on the radial 095, we want to turn left and intercept the ILS. So we need to update again the MCDU. So the first thing I will do myself is make sure that the aircraft flies up to JP01 before initiating a turn. So in order to make sure, I'm just going to use the overfly function over JP01, insert, and now we know the aircraft is going to fly all the way up here. Then we can look at our flight plan. We said this is too much of a turn, 90 degrees, the FMC for sure, the MCDU, sorry, for sure will anticipate the turn, and it's going to be a chaos. So what you will do is just clear those 2 waypoints. So this is my runway, and you tell your MCDU after that waypoint we are going to fly to the runway. Here we go. So now we can see what she has, which of course is not correct because this is direct, and this is, of course, we need to turn left and intercept the ILS course. So we are going to take selected heading around 260, which is a 25 degrees, to intercept localizer and glide slope. All right, so now if we want to check what we've done, let's go to radio navigation page and select San Francisco as art tune. The course is 275. This is the radial we want to fly in. So I'm going to put it on both sides, and my first officer will be on Rose to check what the MCDU is doing. So for that, I'm putting the correct course, and the first officer will be flying like this, and we want to see the radial coming in and the aircraft flying 275. So let's make sure this is what we are doing. And what you can do as well is a fix, and we are going to put here San Francisco as the reference. And if I put the radial 0.95, then we should have, if we go to the flight plan page, we should have, as you can see here, the line perfectly match what we have done. So that is telling us already that we have programmed the correct radial and the aircraft will be flying exactly where it should be. Now if we want to check the distance, this waypoint should be at 10 nautical miles. So again, I will open the fix info, and this time I will tell my MCDU, please show me where is 10 nautical miles. And we are going to check that. So let's see that in the flight plan. And you can see that the 10 miles is exactly where it's supposed to be. Now let's see that one. That one should be 6 miles. So just for the demonstration purposes, let me show you that. So fixed page, fixed page, and we are going for 6 miles this time. And let's see what we have for the waypoint. We are perfectly well. So now we know that this is correctly done, and we could put the ILS if we want, just to have the correct radial, but as it is a visual approach, we should be well in sight with the runway and the airport approaching that waypoint. Okay, so now we have created our approach, but something we might be missing here is the altitude constraint, because our MCDU doesn't know about the altitude, so she might descend below the profile. So if we look into our chart again, we are going to insert the constraint. So you can see that Echo Delta Delta Yankee Yankee, we have a constraint at 6,000. So I'll put the constraint 6,000. Here we go. So now this is my constraint. If I look at SIDB, we have a constraint 5,000 or above. So let's put SIDB, and this time I'm going to put 5,000 or above. Right there. After that, we have our waypoint that we created, which is 10 miles from San Francisco. That's this one, and we should be 2,500 or above. So let's put 2,500. Here we go. And the next one is 6 miles, 1,800. 1,800. Insert. Right, now we've got everything in the box. This is program. We are just going to have a look at the approach, and we need to set the weather. So let's open the actual weather as I'm flying live now. So I'm opening the weather, METAR, and let's see if we find San Francisco right there. Here it is. So we have 17 degrees, 29095, and what do we have here? 29094, so that's fine. So I'm going to change it to 29095. So 29095, temperature 17 degrees, and the wind is calm, so let's put 360 at 0 knots. Transitional flight level 180 is correct. Then no minimums as we are visual, but I'm going to put 500 radio, so when I have minimum call I should be fully stabilized. This is like a reminder to go around if we are not fully established there. Alright, good, weather is inserted, everything is done. We are ready to take control and try to fly this approach. So here I'm just going to reduce the speed now to about 220 knots already here, and I'm going to hold my brake for 3 seconds, and then we fly this approach. So 1, 2, 3. I have control. First thing you want to do, direct, eddy, insert, alt cruise, nav. Perfect. We have a top of descent right here, and we can give, what I will do, I will activate the approach already. So this is out of the way, and we are going manage. 210 for now, that's fine. Let's go manage. Easy. Top of descent is right there. So we are going to give the aircraft the authority to descend to 1,800 feet as we are visual. And we are going to check that she maintains, if I go constrained, 5,000 feet at SID B. So now if I will put 1,800, let's put 1.8, and I click descend, then we have an altitude constraint. So that's good. She see that she cannot descend because of that 6,000 here. And descent blue is there. So passing Eddie, we have top of descent, she will start the descent. So let's see how she managed that. I will let her do the full approach by herself, and we are going to monitor the progress and see how she's able to do this kind of things. We are going to check as well the radial on the first officer map display to make sure we are flying correctly, and we will see if everything is done. One thing you don't want to miss, sorry, is to set the ILS, and the 2995 was the correct altimeter. Here we go, we're starting descent. So we have the restriction 5,000 or above at SID B, so she will do that. And this is to show you one way to fly this approach, and I always try to program everything so that's easy if you want to follow it. In case you have a trouble or something, it's easy to just rely on this if you have checked it properly like we did it. Of course, you can fly this completely in selected mode. After SID B, you just go selected heading 330. On the Airbus, you cannot intercept the radial, so you probably have to fly it like this, see it coming in and turn on the radial to 75. Then once you have 6 DME, turn left and intercept the localizer. So it can be done how you like. I like to program everything and to show you how you can do that. So this is why we are trying this exercise today and see how we can have a correct lateral and vertical navigation. So we pass SID B, 5,000 or above. She's doing a perfect job for now. Now we are going to the next waypoint, which is the one we created before, which should match the 10 miles San Francisco once we establish on the radial 095. So we will see how she's doing that. For now, everything looks good. We will see here the radial coming in. You can see the radial as well coming in. Right there, we should be on a 275. Here we should be on 275, and this is the actual RMI. So this radial is coming in. So we will see that. About 15 miles to land. Let's go flaps 1. And we are coming into San Francisco. Okay, so we are going to check 10 miles here, and we are going to check the radial. You can see that the descent profile looks good. She's doing a perfect job. 2,500 or above at PBD01, which is 10 miles on the radial 275. So we are going to monitor everything and make sure she's doing a good job. So here we can see that the radial is coming in nicely. And 10 miles should be there. So let's see. Once the needle match, it means we are established. So we're expecting the radial to move in. That's it. You can see it coming now. And we should read 10 nautical miles when we're established. So that waypoint, we checked it before, looks perfect. The radial is coming, the aircraft is turning. That's just perfect. Huh? It works like a charm. You can see that the vertical profile is good as well. So far, so good. Let's go flaps 2. Now we are waiting for that waypoint, which is 6 miles. And you can see that we are perfectly well established on the correct radial 095, which is the 275 track inbound the SFO VOR. So that works perfectly well. She's doing a perfect job. Next thing, we want to turn left on 260 to intercept the localizer course. We can see the boat runway 28 left, 28 right in front of us. So we are waiting now for this waypoint or 6 miles to turn left. 2,500. Radio altimeter is alive. Checked. Let's go gear down. Arm the speed brake. Once you turn left, you will be in vertical speed. So now what I will do, I will set 500 feet for my minimum for now, and then we will set missed approach altitude in a second. So we are waiting for 6 DME. You can see that we are coming very close here. So the waypoints you can see match exactly 0.4 miles, 0.4 miles. And at 6 miles, we are going to turn left. So we could pre-select the heading 260. We are 6 miles, so heading select, vertical speed, I need to increase it a little bit. Now we'll set missed approach altitude, 3,000 feet. We can go flaps 3 and arm approach. Flaps full. Now you check your glide slope, adjust the vertical speed as needed, and help the autopilot if you see that the turn is going to be too abrupt. Here it looks good, so I can reduce now the rate of descent, 800 feet per minute. Let's go landing checklist, Ekame mono blue, all good. I can even reduce my rate of descent even more, 1,000, and now I'm going to help glide slope lock star, missed approach altitude set, and we are getting nicely established on the localizer. Missed approach altitude is set, and we can fly now this approach manually or automatic as you wish. Good. So we didn't overfly. I could have helped the autopilot a little bit here, but I wanted to try the Fenix. She's doing it, yeah? Okay, so I will take her manually around 500 feet, my minimum. Here we go. Let's grab autopilot off.
100 above.
And we go for landing. So here, as we are going very short on final, the autopilot struggled a little bit to intercept the localizer. So here we could help her or take her manually and do the intercept by yourself. It's a visual approach. I just wanted to try all the way down the MCDU. All right, we're coming over the threshold.
40, 30, 20, retard, 5.
Floating. Here we go. All right. Spoilers, reverse green, decel. And we are just going to vacate the runway at the second left here. All right, so I think that was quite a long landing. We are in the touchdown zone, but it was quite long. I tried to make a kiss landing for you. I almost went around there. I think we are probably in the 800 meters range. So let's have a look. I'll vacate the runway. I'll set the parking brake, and we will check FSiPanel landing report to see what happened there. All right, here we are. Runway is vacated. I will just stop here, set the parking brake, and let's have a look at the landing report. Here we go. 800 meters, long landing, but still within the touchdown zone up to 900. So it could have been a go around here. So this is something to keep in mind. On center line, landing was smooth. Otherwise, we didn't flaps full and we were stable. You can see here the autopilot, the trouble to intercept came here then started the turn. We saw that we didn't overshoot too much the localizer, which is good because you have runway 28 left. So this is something to keep in mind as well. So we didn't go too far away. Then the turn was too abrupt. And because we are very short final, you see 2-3 miles. So this is why the autopilot has struggled. And finally, we managed to land. The profile was not too bad in terms of vertical profile. So one thing to keep in mind if you fly this approach, either you take less intercept heading, so maybe you will come even closer and the autopilot can do it, or just fly it manually. In real life, I will fly it just manually. It's so beautiful. Take it at even before approaching the last waypoint and then just fly manually down the runway. You have the glide slope as the indication, so perfect. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video demonstrating pilot waypoint and this kind of approach using the MCDU. If you have any question or comment, please drop it in the section down below. Thank you for watching and stay safe and please subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys. Bye bye.